Hello and welcome to The Sting of Time, episode 2. This is the video series slash podcast where I, Leeloo, and my friend
Oskar
watch The Scorpion King 52 times in a row. This is watch number 2.
We have 50 times left.
Yes, that is less than last week.
Twice as less as last week.
Yes, in actual runs, but not in percentage.
I don't think they had invented percentage by the time.
Back in Gomorrah.
Exactly. So it's still fine.
Is the Marvel character named Gomorrah or Gamora? Gamora.
Huh? What?
Is it Gamora?
I think it's Gamora.
So not
I
Gamora.
always confuse that character with the one from Warcraft, Garona, because they're both green and have almost the same name. I'm sitting down this time.
Yes, I'm standing up. I can actually show it. Look at this.
Oh my God, that's incredible.
Yes.
Growing taller in real time. No, never mind. Traveling back in time. Yes. But aren't we always traveling back in time?
Yes.
And in this podcast.
I don't know, figuratively and metaphysically.
That's the kind of thing we deal with around here.
We had a run in like mid last week, so like Thursday maybe, something like that. I say run in, but we spoke. We spoke,
communicated.
Thursday, yes, exchanged blows, and I think we almost touched upon how we were feeling about potentially watching the movie again and again, but mostly this upcoming, or well, now we've done it, second viewing of The Scorpion King from 2002, co-written by David Hayter.
The clap of my ass cheek.
It is indeed. It's interesting because I think this is the only other movie other than X-Men, the infamous X-Men movie, which David Hayter was the script writer for, where I have seen David Hayter's name in the credits. I'm not sure if he has he done any other movie.
Probably not. I mean, it's not a stellar track record, I have to say.
Would you say, after having seen The Scorpion King 2 times in as many weeks, is it a better or worse movie than X-Men?
I'd have to watch X-Men as many times as I've seen Scorpion King before I can answer that question. So right now, I'd say it's better. I'd probably say it's more fun. Anyway, I'm going to backtrack us to stay on point on this, because I was going somewhere before I introduced the black horse of David Hayter into the conversation. So last week we almost touched upon our feelings before, like the previewing feelings, because we were one watch in, and it was like the between period. But then we stopped ourselves because it probably works better here, and probably shouldn't talk about The Scorpion King outside of the allotted time slot.
Keep the Scorpion King time of our lives here.
Yes, and
so we don't become too
quarantined.
Scorpion. Exactly.
But how were you feeling leading up to this watch? Because this is a pretty momentous watch. This is the first time we're seeing it again. This is only rivaled by the first viewing.
I felt better than the first viewing, I have to say, because now I felt like I knew more what to expect of the entire endeavor. Because
that is, I think, objectively true.
Yes, because the first viewing, I did not know anything about what I am doing or why. I still don't really know. I'm still somewhat of a wanderer in ignorance about the the entire purpose. But having dispelled that particular layer of unknown about it made this the leading up to this watch already felt more comfortable. I felt more like I was
Belonged.
able to enjoy it.
Yes. I had a conversation today. I'm sort of hijacking this train of thought about uh, veterans of war and PTSD, but also the pleasures of war. Because my partner had read like a book or something, maybe listened to a podcast. Nobody reads anymore. Uh, about some dude who went to Vietnam and he talked about how it was such a great time. And nobody talks about that or something. But we talked a bit about war and how it can be nice, even if a thing is horrible, it can be nice to have like you know what you're doing. Okay, I'm in the army. I know I have clear objectives. I know who the enemy is. I have the same people around me. That kind of stuff. Right? It's pretty. It can be. It can be. It's like prison, right? It can be a pretty wild scenario getting out.
I love war and prison. It's so great. I was thinking about how great being in one a war and in prison is.
I don't know, but my point is that maybe you've already started to develop some sort of Stockholm syndrome where you know what you're doing on a Monday. It's very predictable. You're watching the Scorpion King and then you're talking about the Scorpion King.
Well, I wouldn't say it's a Stockholm syndrome kind of thing, because a Stockholm syndrome would be more like I have, let's see, as if I had completely like embraced a bad situation and then turned
You embrace the Scorpion King lifestyle.
exactly. It's less like I have, you know, what you usually say about Stockholm syndrome, like how you grow affectionate for your kidnapper and or that sort of thing. But in my case, I think it's more like I'm like an animal who has like
Accepted the abuse.
yeah, a deer that breaks its leg and lies in the forest, and it can't biologically, realistically, anything. It cannot remedy this situation at all. So it just lies there until it is dead. It doesn't really, you know, think about what could I have done different. How can I fix this at this point? It's like biologically programmed to just, you know, all right, this is how it is. So
Accepted your fate is maybe a short
exactly,
for that.
it's more like that.
Okay. I, on the other hand, I think leading up to this watch at least, I was pretty psyched, I think. I had it in my mind that this viewing could possibly be the greatest viewing. I could enjoy this one the most out of all of them, which is paints a somewhat bleak picture for the future, I guess, but you know, potentially good for this one because I thought, well, I watched it once, and it's I think watching the Scorpion King the first time, if you're only gonna watch it one time, it could be a pretty good watch, maybe. But we didn't watch it in that scenario. We didn't
No.
watch it, you know. So maybe we didn't give it a fair shot. And I thought, okay, this time maybe it'll be just like watching the movie because it's sort of fresh, but I don't know.
Well, how I felt about that aspect of it is that I noticed on the second watch that I have already, because we had talked a bit about how on subsequent watches of the movie, we're gonna start paying attention to like the minutia of background characters and really like we're gonna be desperately hungrily looking for something to latch onto and be like, oh, now that background character does this and now this line comes. I'm already there basically. So I'm already like thinking about what am I going to single out really really specific small things like this watch. I started talking a lot about the arrowheads of all the arrows in the movie, and I feel like I might be 10 15 watches too early
Well,
to
if it's funny you say that, because at the same time, as much as you were paying attention to the arrowheads and the little kid, you seem
yes.
to have a complete blind spot for a somewhat major character in the movie that appears in like 12 scenes or something. And I think,
Yeah, the king's second in command, or how you
yeah,
should call it.
the
He
he's like the son of old Conan,
exactly.
who appears in the beginning of the movie.
And even on the first watching, I don't remember if this is in the episode or not, but I remember that I said that the character was completely like blanked out for me, and I made some kind of comment about, wow, this guy is so white I can't even see him, or something like that, and then just kind of forgot about him, except for once or twice I might say like, this guy feels like he really doesn't belong in the setting. Like this is just some guy who walked on set, and then this viewing. And I also in the first viewing I said like 5 seconds before this guy dies at the end of the movie, I said, "Is this the first time this guy has spoken line?" And then this time we're watching the movie, and the beginning of the movie, this guy has talks and talks and talks,
Yeah, yeah.
like in a very pivotal scene where the Rock's brother gets murdered. This guy is yapping on and
Yeah.
on. He's center stage, and it's like I must have thought that scene was empty the first time. Here we have a nice shot of the carpets in the tent, or something like that.
Yeah. He appears quite a lot. He has a really unspectacular death scene. It's
Yeah, when
like,
he's riding.
yeah, he gets
Right.
on a horse and he rides with a weird spear for, I don't know, maybe like 30 seconds of screen time, and then
Yeah.
he just dies.
In a very narrow space, a place you wouldn't really expect to bring a horse.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how the horse got in there, but it's kind of teleports in. You see the horse outside, and then you see later on they cut to him riding the horse in this like narrow corridor, trying to ride down Balthazar, and he just dies. He just gets completely clowned. He doesn't even get like a fight or anything.
Yeah, he dies.
What was it I said when?
You
Because there, just at the end where Balthazar is about to like do the stab him to death, he says, "For your father."
Yeah,
Or
and then
something
you
like that.
asked me, wait, who's the dad? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
is he the bad guy's son?
yeah. I said, "Oh, so was he Memnon's son?" And you're like, "No, you idiot! He's Conan's son." I'm like, "Oh, I was wondering where he came
Yeah,
from."
where did he came? Uh, yeah. So I guess you have very particular,
Mm.
a very particular set of eyes.
Well, I've always had. I'm not gonna say I've always had good eyesight because that's the biggest lie ever. I have terrible eyesight. Uh, but I think I, I think I will soon be able to watch the movie in the way you described it, like I'm watching it just as a movie, and then being able to sort of dispel the whole um, the overarching veil of what we are doing
Yeah, yeah.
here. But it is not this time.
Not this day. We didn't mention that Theoden King
Yeah,
is
I
in
was
this
gonna
movie.
say that I'm not gonna call it a trespass because we have barely scratched the surface of content the great movie Scorpion King can offer an endeavor like this, but somewhat of an oversight in episode 1 that we did not at all mention that amazingly Bernard Hill, I think his name is, I'm not sure what the actor is called, but
He's just Théoden King to me.
in our hearts, he will always be Théoden King, Lord of the River Mart, unashamed, watcher of faces, all manner of titles he holds. But here he is.
Here he is, and he's a
Here he-
Greek with drip, as you put it.
Yes. Yeah, I love Theoden's clothes. We haven't gotten yet to what did we particularly like this movie, but I might preemptively state that Theoden's outfit, he might be wearing several outfits in the movie.
Yeah, I think he has at least two. I would.
Yeah, he has
gander.
like his later outfit is a bit different when they're all actiony and so on, but his outfit, it really snaps. It's it's really,
Would you say that it's bussin'?
No, I would say that it snaps.
It
And
snaps.
it might even crackle a bit. I also love his hair. He has little braids in his
Yeah,
hair.
they're a bit weird, but
I
it's kind of cool.
think-
It's a bit Final Fantasy X.
Yeah, I think they're really elegant. It feels like, I can kind of imagine him getting up in the morning and looking, I was gonna say looking like shit, but because he has this kind of unhinged look, like
Yeah.
he's a mad scientist, that sort of thing. But I can kind of imagine him like very elegantly making his braids every morning and then putting on his really cool outfit and then building a catapult or blowing up a mountain or all that sort of thing.
A hairstyle from a more civilized time.
As Théoden said,
Yes.
famously in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. So he's in the movie, and we didn't mention that last time. He, I don't know. You talked about how Mr. Whitey does this teleport with the horse. There's quite a lot of teleporting in the movie.
Yes. Everyone teleports.
Well, I think specifically, mostly Arpid, is that his name? He's not. It's not Armpit, but
I don't know, dude.
the comic sidekick does a lot of teleporting.
Yeah, he teleports out of the anthill. I don't know if we mentioned that the first time. We mentioned it while you watched, but maybe not during the episode. But
yeah. I think during the episode I said, because I think I mentioned how he might be a warlock when we were talking about.
Oh yeah, that's right. But yeah, I theorized a bit during this watching, like how long have they been in the ant pit, or I shouldn't say the ant pit, or rather the hole next to the ant nests or whatever. How much time has he spent like digging on the inside, like in order to like wrangle himself loose from the hole or whatever? But the more, I think it will continue to be one of the most baffling parts of the movie will be how he escapes the hole at all.
Yeah.
And also after he escapes, he still teleports on the
Yeah.
surface. Like just escaping the hole is something that you realistically probably could, depending on we don't know what the situation is underground here, how nestled in
Maybe
they
he's
are.
a mole man.
Yeah, but
An
the
extinct
fact
species of humans.
yeah,
Mole men.
I think that might have to be it. What
Yeah, he
else?
teleports around there. He teleports from the basement when they're blowing up the. I was about to say the Arkenstone, but that's not it. It's the
foundation
stone.
And Théoden points this out in a very, Lord of the Rings manner, like, here it is, foundation stone, like it's magical or something, but it's a rock, dude.
Yeah,
not
it's
the
kind
rock,
of weird because you'd assume that they would blow it up and then maybe the whole
like
the whole palace would come crashing down, but it doesn't. It just does a big explosion.
Yeah, which is interesting because there's only black powder in near the foundation. So what is exploding? But that might also be because when there's one scene where Théoden like perfects his as he calls it Chinese formula, and he has done a successful test explosion in the desert. Makes it sound like a nuclear test or something. But it might be because this leaves a huge crater when he blows up the black powder in the desert, and I said something like, "Do you think this crater was completely formed from the explosion, or had he already dug a hole for the black powder? And if he had not dug a hole, that must mean that this Chinese formula is just black powder times 1,000."
But you don't know how much he blew up.
Well, no, that's true, but I mean, considering how much they carry into the palace.
But I mean, how big is the hole? It's like I don't know. You could fit 2 people in it, maybe.
I mean, what is the unit we use to measure a hole in Scorpion King? I guess since the first real
How many of the
certified,
rock could you fit in the
exactly,
hole?
you can fit 1 rock and 1 armpit in a hole. So so many rocks can you fit in Théoden's hole? Is the real question, I think, that we need to ponder.
Yeah, I don't think the hole is too big. I think you're kind of wild in here. To me, it seems sort of reasonable. But then again, I feel like I have to say, I feel like this viewing, we were a lot more split on a lot of things in the movie.
Absolutely.
There were so many things where I think you were questioning the logic of the movie, and maybe this highlights our how we were going into it, because I was maybe watching it more like, oh, this is just a movie, because I actually gave it a lot of leeway, I think, where you were not.
Yes, I'll concede to that, but I also felt that I remembered more from the movie than you did, because you were more, oh right, this part, and you were like, oh, I forgot this scene was even here, and that sort of thing, and that might also be a bit of a what should you say, a bit of a sign in how we watched it. That like you were watching it kind of like you were watching it for the first time, normally, while I was watching it like I was blocking out the actual movie and just obsessively
Yes.
looking for really stupid things to focus on, because that's what I've been thinking the most about. Like, oh my god, how am I going to be able to watch this movie so many times and still have something to talk about during the watch?
Yeah,
But
for people who, I mean, you know this, but the people who watch this don't. I have, I think, I described you last episode as having an elephant's memory, which I don't know if that flies in English, but whatever. It means you got big memory stock in the old brain cavity.
Right.
But I have the ability to erase things from my mind at random.
Well-practiced ability.
Yes.
Hope.
I don't. It tends to not. I mean, a week is a bit short, but maybe it has come into effect. It doesn't happen at will. So maybe I'm just erasing parts of the Scorpion King each week, and it's sort of a coping mechanism.
That could very well be. So in that case, my coping mechanism would be that instead of since I am much less capable of erasing the Scorpion King, I'm just trying to dive deeper and deeper into the Scorpion King, and the deeper I get, like the deeper I get, the less of the light of the surface I can surmise. So eventually I will be crushed under the pressure that is the Scorpion King, but I would not know where I am.
So before we head into our closing remarks, it's time for us to head into sort of a game show aspect. I'm calling it
Dubious Dwayne Details.
It's I should say welcome. It's a game show within a video podcast here, where I'm gonna ask you 2 questions. They're two choice questions, so you don't have to, it's an XY thing. where I'm going to give you 2 facts because we haven't talked that much about The Rock this episode.
No, I noticed before we get into this that during the first watching, we mostly called The Rock, but at least I have started calling him Dwayne.
Yeah,
Now.
he's Dwayne to me now. He's
exactly.
a lot closer.
I don't think he's going to stay Dwayne. I think it will be a bit fluid. What the Rock will be identified as. I think it will be Dwayne one scene, The Rock another. And I think it will be very rarely that we call him by the name of his character.
Yeah, Matthias is probably not going to happen too much.
Exactly.
I actually like the Acadian more than the Matthias.
Yeah.
I wish he just went by the Acadian.
I keep wanting to say the Acadian.
Here we go. We got 2 facts about Dwayne Johnson. Sorry, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, I should say his full name. One of these is true, one of these is false. And I guess I'll track your score. Are you ready for the first question?
Yes.
Fact number 1 about The Rock. The Rock has never been arrested. Fact number 2. The Rock has the world record for selfies in 3 minutes. So one of these is true, one of these is false.
Okay, so I'm gonna pick one.
You pick the one you think is true.
Okay. Well, celebrities usually, I don't know if I should just pick one or if I should motivate it, but
you.
I feel that celebrities usually have been arrested in some comical or tragic manner. But celebrities also take a lot of selfies, and The Rock feels like a very selfie kind of person. I feel like he takes probably, or rather, I should say, I imagine that he takes like 1 million selfies every second, all the time. So it's a bit of a tough choice. I'm gonna go with the selfie one.
Do you think that's true?
Well, when you put it like that, how many selfies was it in how many minutes?
I don't think I said. I think I said he has the world record for selfies in 3 minutes.
Okay. It's gotta be that he got arrested. It's way too stupid of a thing to have the world record in.
Well, it says it false. As you said, it was false, but he's never been arrested. Was the made up one?
Okay.
So he has been arrested, and he has the world record in selfies.
Wait, so they were both true?
No, because the fact number 1 was The Rock has never been arrested. You fucking idiot.
Huh? I don't get it.
Well, it's good. I have a second one here, so you can get this one right. Okay, fact number 1. The Rock is afraid of spiders. Fact number 2. The Rock owns a dog named Murph after Eddie Murphy. Comedian Eddie Murphy.
Is there another Eddie Murphy?
I don't know. I just felt like specifying.
Well, let's see. I think it's true that he owns a dog named Murph.
Oh, that's false, because he has a fear of spiders.
I felt that. Okay, I'm gonna justify my reasoning a bit, because I happen to know that The Rock, during the scene where they're about to be eaten by the fire ants, The Rock has stated in some interview or whatever thing about the Scorpion King, where it's like, hey, The Rock comment on these things and scenes from the Scorpion King and trivia, that he insists in this interview that the ants were real.
Actually, those were real ants from South America. They were 4 inches long. Just for the record, because I'm a method actor and I like to go deep, I required real ants.
even though the ants are obviously extremely fake, original Toy Story looking ants. and and he does this in a way that is. It doesn't seem like he's joking or making a gag about it. It seems as like the way I interpret it really felt like he wanted to be like, oh, those real dude, those ants were so real, and I actually bit one, and they were gonna eat me if I didn't, and so on. When I say it like this, it sounds like he's obviously joking, dude. Are you stupid? But
I'll pull up the clip
yeah,
for
you can judge
people
for yourself.
viewing and judge for yourself
Exactly,
if it exists. If it doesn't exist, I won't do it.
it does exist.
Yeah, so I will, I guess. We're kind of running out of time here. So let's do you've already done your favorite thing, like Théoden King's
Théoden's-
drip.
Exactly.
So I feel the need to hear your emotional state right now.
Right now, my emotional state is somewhat disappointed. I got all the questions wrong. I am also somewhat relieved that we have made it through another watch without any major incidents.
No casualties.
No. I don't know if need to have 3 emotions every time.
No,
no.
you can
I
have
only
the emotions you have.
I only have 2 emotions this time, and those 2 are it.
Yes.
Disappointed and relieved.
Yes. But I think that's better than last time, because that was 2 negative and 1 okay.
Maybe I will go -1 emotion every viewing, and eventually I will be negative 49 emotions or something.
Yes, you will be incredibly unfeeling.
That will probably help with the later episodes.
Depends, I guess. I am. How am I? How am I doing? I think I'm worse than I thought I would be.
Mm-hmm.
Again. I was very okay, I think, up until the point where we got like 2/3 into the movie, and I was convinced that we had like 10 minutes left.
Mm.
And then
yeah,
I realized there was an entire like act of the movie left.
Yeah, we had a bit of a discussion about it, how because I said something like, "Oh, it's interesting how we're already in the final act," but as you said, or as we both said, it's you get to, like, you should say, the final location, so to say, in the movie, and there's tons of movie left. So
Yeah.
it's just a very long sequence, basically.
Yeah. It's I got tricked. I got fooled. So I'm probably a bit ashamed that I let myself get my hopes up in that way, and then I got a bit crushed. To be honest, I didn't enjoy. There's lots of potentially funny parts in the end of the movie, and I didn't enjoy it. I was ready for it to be over, I have to say.
Would you say that your feeling of feeling ashamed is tangibly similar to how Théoden King would have felt if they had not won the Battle of Pelennor Fields? Because as everybody knows, Théoden King, as he looks into Eowyn's eyes, he famously
Damn, bitch, you got some Eowyn eyes.
He famously does not say that. He famously says that he now goes to the halls of his forefathers, in whose company he shall no longer feel ashamed. So,
yes, I think it's that exact feeling.
Exactly. I saw that a bit in your eyes here.
So that means I think that I'm possibly a little bit more ashamed than I thought I was, and it also means that Théoden King was probably not that ashamed if he lost. Just a bit.
He would probably
He'd be fine.
He was resigned to it already. he was ready.
As for my favorite part of the viewing this time, I gave out an actual laugh. Last episode we talked about how does the movie have any like real laughs that aren't made up of laughing at the movie?
You found one.
I found one. I laughed for real when Dwayne is led into the temple area by this street kid, and he stops the kid by lifting him in his collar, and he chokes the kid. So that was my favorite part.
Didn't you say that you think this part will make you laugh every time?
Yes, that was my. I guess I've cursed it now.
Yeah, because
by saying that.
now you might be too conscious of it, so you might feel forced to laugh every time.
Yes, but we'll see. Maybe it'll make it funner. I don't know. But with that, I think we're over. We can't talk too much about the Scorpion King because we got hours and hours and hours left of
I am
this.
over it. I've had enough Scorpion King for this week.
Yes. We'll catch you guys next time.